Welcome to Grace by Rain, a podcast about the beauty in life. I'm your host, Elaine Shircliff. Thank you, everyone, for joining me tonight. This week, I have a special guest joining me from across the pond in England. His name is Scott Findlay. He is a co-host of the 3 on 3 UK podcast, and he also volunteers to help run some of the social media for the Coventry Blaze of the EIHL. I am so thankful that Scott came on my show. He is such an absolute beauty of a human, and I very much enjoyed talking to him. I'm also very thankful that he dealt with my broken brain. We had to take a few breaks quickly so I could get my brain back into working motion. That's why you don't spend 5 hours with your mother deep diving into Formula One lore, trying to figure out why Oscar Piastri was not on the stage with McLaren when they won the Constructors Championship. Silly. Don't do it. Don't let it take up your mental space. um, but again, I'm very thankful for him dealing with that fried brain. He had a lot of insightful things to say about the EIHL and just about his love of hockey. And that is the whole point of this podcast, is to shed light on the beauty of different things. And I, for one, think that the way he and the other guys on the 3 on 3 podcast UK think and act when they speak about the sport really highlights the beautiful parts of the sport that I love so much. Even though I'm all the way over here in America, I also have grown to love so many parts of the EIHL. In the past decade, I would say, maybe longer, 2012. So that's definitely longer than a decade. That I have come to enjoy the EIHL. I wish I could watch it more. I wish that there was maybe a better way to stream it. But for me over here, since I can't, hop on a plane and fly to England whenever I want to watch a hockey game. But the teams do a really good job of covering it. And the fans and the content creators that are out there right now are doing a phenomenal job. So keep up the good work. I love that you guys are growing this sport. It is one of my favorite sports. So to meet people in other countries who love this silly little sport and that brings them as much joy as it does me is truly an honor. So I hope you enjoy the interview.
All right. Well, hi, Scott. Thank you for joining me. I know every time we try to join each other, the games always go just a little bit longer because that's the kind of luck I bring.
100%. I knew, obviously, tonight we went into overtime. It was always gonna be the case, but no, happy to get this one sorted.
So, this show is about the beauty in life. So, what did you find beautiful this week in your life? It doesn't have to be hockey related.
I found a bit of beauty in work, to be honest. There's been quite a few things going on at work, and everyone's kind of come together. And I've got a really supportive team. I'm the only bloke in the team, so they all mother me and look after me. But I've took some joy out of work this week, which is rare.
Yeah. It's nice to have someone mother you. I used to work for the federal government here in the United States, and now I work for a Catholic church, and my coworker is literally a nun. So I get mothered quite often, both spiritually and literally. It's quite great.
Well,
Uh,
I was raised a Catholic as well, so I
oh,
went to Catholic school.
oh,
So
nice.
yeah.
I seem to find the Catholics. It seems to be like my gift. I
Brilliant.
just, I just find them. It's great. Now, so what is your hockey origin story? How did you discover hockey and get into hockey?
Through my friend at school. Obviously, I played the old NHL games on the Sega Mega Drive back in the day when you were just button bashing. But Coventry started a team up in the year 2000. We were playing in the BNL, the league below, and I started going in 2001. I didn't have a clue how long the game would last, and um, my mum was picking me up because I was what 12 at the time, and I was just like, I don't know when it's going to end because the clock stops every time, and she was expecting it to be an hour and wasn't very happy that she had to wait 2.5 hours to pick me up. But yeah, went to a game in 2001, and the rest is history.
Yeah. I love that about hockey though. You literally never know when it's gonna end.
Yeah, they weren't
Like,
too happy with me every Sunday night. Can I come pick me up now? Okay.
love that. So you volunteer with the Coventry Plays.
Yeah.
You're on a podcast that talks about the EIHL,
Mhm.
so the 3-on-3. Great podcast. If
Yeah.
anyone's listening, you guys should definitely listen to it. What is it about the EIHL that you just love so much?
The regular season is the main trophy. So every game matters. Yes, we have a short playoff campaign, which is over 2 weeks long, but the regular season trophy is the main one, and it makes game one matter. The Wednesday night in Glasgow, you have to go and get a win there if you're going to be wanting to win the league. So every game matters, and I think it takes a little getting used to from the non-home ground players when they come here. But I wouldn't change that for the world, and I think that we're very unique. I don't think another league playing ice hockey does it the way we do it.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think that the AHL and the NHL seasons are too long, and so too many games don't matter.
Yeah.
Unless they see each other a lot, then they just hate each other because they see each other so much.
That's the thing with the NHL. I mean, pre-season's too long. It's
Hmm.
the pre-season of the NHL is just about people trying to make a name for themselves, and that's when the guys get hurt. But what is it? 84 regular season games in the
It's
NHL?
it's 82, but
82.
it's going to 84 because they're taking out 4 preseason games. It's too long.
And if you've got no chance of making playoffs, you're just playing for what? And then it's one of the reasons why I don't really watch the NHL till the playoffs.
Yeah. That's kind of I cover the AHL and the NHL is our, like the goal. But
Yeah.
I don't watch the NHL as much anymore because it's not there's just a little bit different in the passion area and like what people are playing for. Because even if an AHL team is kind of like out of it, the players there are still playing for the hope of getting elevated up top or still playing. So there's that little aspect there that I really like. Um, so the league has grown so much though, like fan wise, I've noticed since COVID, to be honest, like I know the AHL took a hit with fans, um,
Yeah.
but I would love to hear your point of view on what went into making the fandom grow in the EIHL because I mean I know a lot of the media puts so much work into it and but the product is also I think has gotten better as well.
I think it's mainly word of mouth. Like you bring a friend to the game. I've my friendship group since I was 4 years old. I'm the only one that watches ice hockey. They take the mick out of me. They're like, "Well, you're not going to that sport. What are you doing?" But I'm passionate about it, so I say to anyone else, "Do you want to come?" And I think when we had COVID, I think people realised how much they missed the sport. It's a very close knit sport throughout the league. Like with the podcast that I do, it's me, a guy from Cardiff, and a guy from Sheffield. We're going away together in a couple of weeks to a Germany ice hockey trip from all four nations. We're just coming together and we're going away, and it's a safe sport as well. Football is obviously the main sport in this country, but it's not always a safe environment. You can go to an away game and someone will want to fight you just because you're from a different city. In ice hockey, you don't get that. And it's a very inclusive sport for women. Like 45% of the fan base are made up of women as well. So you can take your family, you can feel safe. And yes, the product is about hitting each other hard, scoring goals, but it's such a good environment to be around. I've never gone to an ice hockey game and felt unsafe, and I've never made anyone else feel unsafe when they come to the ice hockey. And I think that's a massive part of why our league is so liked in that sense.
Yeah. I also noticed that there have just been more and more AHL players that have come
Yeah,
over, right? Like I've been covering the AHL as a credentialed writer. This will be my 10th season. and I've just been a fan of the AHL for a very long time. And I've just noticed this uptick of people coming to the AHL, and not the, sorry, I've noticed this uptick of people coming to the EIHL, like Chase Pearson. I'm gonna be honest, like, I mean, I covered him with the Griffins, and there's no doubt in my mind that a team in the NHL or the AHL could have honestly signed him more on like maybe a two-way contract for the
Yeah.
NHL. But guys like that are coming over to the UK and they're doing fantastic. I mean, Chase is hurt right now, but it's not just him. There's so many of them, and it's been growing every season with the amount that are coming over. Why do you think that is?
I think because the standard of the league has grown, but it's also we are that stepping stone onto the higher European leagues. And if people see that, oh, he's gone there, well, I'll go there and do well. And the fan base here never steps in someone's way where you encourage them to go on and do well in Europe. So they kind of come here and then maybe look to kind of go Slovakia, the Dow 2, and then Germany. And then we are like the gateway to Europe. Come to the Elite League. It's also English speaking as well. I think that's a massive pull. We asked Chase straight up, why, what are you doing in this league? Why are you doing it? And he went, why not? Why not come and show what I can do? A lot of guys come over and do school as well. So we offer the university packages. Most teams offer that. I think if you were coming over and had to pay it yourself, you're probably not going to have to pay like $15,000 a year to do that. That's included in your contract. So the guys can get an education. Usually guys do it toward the end of their career, but we are getting a lot of younger guys coming in and doing it. We also are massively looking at the NCAA route as well. So a lot of signings. We're picking straight out. Blaze have got a player called Matthew Gleason, first year pro, 23 years old. He's an absolute joy to watch. And I see his bar being set very high. If he's here with the Blaze next season, great. But if he's not, I'll be happy because I'm sure he will be moving on to a European league. So there's plenty of pros to playing in the Elite League. Travel's not great. We play back to back a lot. And I think that's kind of the only real concern that the new guys coming in have.
Yeah. Well, if you play in the AHL, that's like all you play are back to backs. And
Yeah.
they finally got rid of most of the 3-and-3s. There would be 3 games in 3 days, and it would be 7 p.m., 7 p.m., and then like noon. And they weren't all at home. They were all away. You were traveling for all 3 games, like crazy pants insane. That's probably a reason why AHL guys go over there, especially when the 3-and-3s were happening, and they're like, "This is great. This is a great schedule. There's not that many games back to back like that." Um, Now, another thing I do like about the EIHL is, like you said, it's kind of like essentially like for people listening that are AHL fans, it's kind of like the AHL to the Europe. But I do like that they're so open and welcoming to people from other countries. Like a lot of the teams are made up of different different walks of life, even different socioeconomic backgrounds too, and everyone is so welcoming. You can't even really see the difference between them. And I don't know, is that just like a thing in the UK? Like, is everyone just so accepting like that, or is that just how it is in the EIHL?
Think it's if you come in and play for the badge, you'll get accepted. If you're coming in and not pulling your weight, we'll let you know. But everyone's got a clean slate when they come in. We had an issue with fan bases looking at elite prospects too much, players signed. And I think that we are finally getting away from that because you look at my Blaze team last year, everyone had us as 10th because we were bringing in the guys from the NCAA. Look at the season the Blaze had last year. It was a great year for us and something to grow on. So I think people are becoming a bit more knowledgeable that don't look at stats, don't look at that. It's how a player settles in, how a player has the role within a team. Because each coach will coach a player differently. And now a player could work out really well for one team in the Elite League and maybe not another. So another team in the Elite League will go, actually, I'll pick you guys up. There's so many success stories of guys being cut, being picked up by another team and go on to have another year, a great year.
Yeah, that shows good scouting too, to be honest. Like you see that in the AHL sometimes, like a guy will get let go of a PTO, which is a professional tryout, and some other team comes in and scoops him up, and I'm like, how did you have time during the preseason to scout who this kid was? But they do, and they do it, and I love that. Um, Now, what is your one of your favorite memories of either growing up watching the Blaze or while you've been working with them?
It would have to be when we won the Grand Slam. So we won the league, the playoffs, and the Challenge Cup, all trophies on offer in 2005. I think how old was I then? 16, 17. Just the joy, the team. We played three line hockey. We had Adam Claude and Dan Carlton, and Wade Belak that came over in the lockout year for us. Unfortunately, in that team, three of the guys are no longer with us,
Yeah.
of through cancer and obviously tragedies, and that hurt us. We still feel it, we still reel it, but the unity in that team and hockey, that was rough hockey back then. That was you were fighting the London races every night. Eric Cairns was in the league that year. Just it was so tough. It was so fun. Um, uh, to win the Grand Slam is something that not everyone does. It's been too long of a while now since the Blaze have won something. It's 10 years since we won the playoffs, 15 years since we won the league, and because the big boys are coming, the big boys are putting their money in, but you can't ever take them away from me. I wish I enjoyed them more. Because we won four leagues within 6 years, probably took it for a little bit more granted. So to give myself a G up if when we next win, because we will win again, bloody going to enjoy it.
Yeah. No, that's the important part. Like I didn't start covering the Cleveland Monsters as a credentialed writer until the October after they won the Calder Cup, and I'm so glad that I didn't have the opportunity to. Like I was turned down for credentials and I was so, annoyed, obviously, because that's just who I am sometimes. And I'm so thankful that they turned me down for it because I got to sit like 10 rows behind the goal when they scored the
Yeah,
the winner and I got to just be loud and obnoxious and screaming. Like I couldn't imagine watching Cleveland sports win their first championship in like it was a lot of years, like before my lifetime, um, and having to write about it, which is, I mean, I love
yeah,
writing and covering it, but to experience it as a fan is just like it's just different. Yeah.
brilliant. You
Um,
guys soak it in.
yeah, you have to soak it in. That's the thing. Like, I will say what I love about hockey players too is a lot of them seem especially as you go through, but they seem so thankful, right, for
Mhm.
everything that they have. And they seem to soak in every moment that they can and don't regret things like coming overseas. Like your guys' interview with Chase Pearson was kind of indicative. I loved that. Like it was so good because he kind of touched on that.
Yeah, and I think with when we're talking to players, we like to on old guys, retired guys, and how much the sport gave them. And you could tell how much they love to talk about it. I mean, when you have a player on, who doesn't like to talk about himself? Let's be honest. But you get so much out of them, and how grateful they are to have played the game. And if you do a little bit of research on that guy, I like going back to their old days and learning about when there was a kid. Um, they're all very much the same, aren't they? They're all cut from the same cloth. I think they have got a little bit more boring as the years have gone on by. They're not as fun and outgoing, but that's probably the world of social media, isn't it? And fake camera phones. But yeah, they're just so happy to be here. And I think when a guy uproots from home, travels thousands of miles to go to a city he's never been to and plays for your badge, you can't argue with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I do. You're right. They have gotten a little bit boring, especially as they go up through the leagues, at least here in North America. And it is a lot of it is things getting taken out of context, people putting up a quote but not giving the whole thing. And I have this habit of being like, do you need me to cut that from my post game? Like, if I think it's gonna put them in like a bad light, or if they're gonna get fined by the league, I'm like, do you want me to just like,
Because I watched Sidney Crosby's interview on 32 Thoughts, was it? It's
yeah,
just the same, and it's the same interview that's been regurgitated for the last 10 years. You're not going to get anything new out of him. I felt like you got a little bit out of Connor McDavid because obviously everything that's going on, but so many interviews are just too much of the same.
Yeah.
And I'm like, am I going to get anything out of this? Like the Quinn Hughes ones was a little bit more insightful, but they're so media trained to not say anything. Um, you look at John Tortorella, yes, he's Marmite, his character that's not, but he would say it what he thought. And I
Yeah.
don't think we have that in the game across all leagues now. I think it's just very mundane and too much media trained when you just want, as a fan, you just want the truth, don't you?
Yeah. No, that's true. And a lot of it too comes down to trust. Like you have to trust the media that you're with, and the
Mm.
media has to trust you as well. It's like I tell people all the time, it's a dance between the two. You can't just walk in there and hit them with the hard questions or hit them with a like I was in a post game once and someone's grandma had died like a week before and this person came in, never interviewed this player before, never met him and it was like, "Hey, by the way, like, your grandma died last week and you played so well. Did you play that game for her?" And I was like, "Why are you asking him that question?" And the player was like shut down. They were like, "All right,
Yeah, of course.
media over. I don't know you. I wasn't expecting this." Like,
No.
yeah. So I see why a lot of them, I mean, I played sports and I know like I feel weird being in the locker room in the Griffins. Like we get to be in there with all the other AHL teams. I was always in the hallway. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's fine. That's their sanctuary. Like, that's cool. And I walked in there the first time and I was like, this is the weird. I feel like I'm in their space. Like, I am in their
Yeah.
space. Like, and because I'm a woman, like, a lot of them are like, oh, we got to make sure we have our towels on. I'm like, yes, please.
Yeah,
Please.
that'd be nice.
Like, that would be great. I promise I'll keep it quick.
Brilliant.
Now, so you're on, like I mentioned earlier, you're on the 3-on-3 podcast. How did that come about for you guys? Do you guys all know each other beforehand?
Yeah, so we've known each other just from watching the games and talking to each other over X and then becoming friends. And um, John, who's one of the co-hosts, he was following in the podcast, and he said, "Why don't we just do it?" Especially after when COVID happened. Why we know without sounding what's a little rude here. We've been around. We know the league. We've all got insights into players. John kind of worked with the Cardiff Devils back in the day. David's helped out with the Sheffield Steelers. We've got a lot of contacts, and we enjoy talking hockey. And we muted the idea out on X, and people said they would listen, and they do. And it's grown and grown and grown. When the three of us are not on together, people moan. They say the chemistry isn't as good as it normally is. And me and John argue all the time, and David tries to keep us in check. But I absolutely love it. And I'm so glad we did it. We just went for it one time, and we're very grateful that players look at our podcast and want to come on it. We recently interviewed Jamie Russell. He's not doing any of the media outside of Fife, but we approached Max Beerbayer, who's a new GM, who we've got a relationship with, and said, "Look, we just want to promote Fife." Jamie was great with his time, and I just love listening to people's stories. And um, mental health is very important. And when I'm doing podcasts, I forget about the world. I don't think about anything. I'm not looking at my phone. I'm talking about something I'm very passionate. I, it's probably the best decision I've ever made. Starting and doing a 3-on-3 podcast. I think we're nearly at 180 episodes now. Our numbers are doing really well as well. You know, when you've got such a small market in this league and in sport, it's we look at our figures and we're like, wow, we've done really well. We get so much good feedback. Some people don't like us, but that's the way of the world.
Yeah. No, I very much enjoy you guys because you guys are genuinely passionate about the sport and you can tell that when you talk about it, it's not because you're trying to like be better than anyone, sound better, act like you know everything.
Yes.
I love that because it's so hard to find that in just content creating in general. You have a lot of people yelling into the same void, and you guys are not. And like I stumbled upon you guys um, after Johnson died. I
Yeah.
and that was because I wanted to know more about him because I didn't really
Mm.
know who he was. Because we had just gone through that with Matisse like a year, I think it was like a few years before, a year
Yeah.
before. And I was like, I want to know what this person was genuinely like because when Matisse died, everyone was talking, but it wasn't people from the Musketeers or from the Monsters who had watched him play for all these years and got to know him. And I was like, I want to hear about him. And your guys' podcast came up and I listened to it and I was like, okay, this is beautiful. Like this is good. And so I just continued. And yes, I love it when you two argue. It's so great.
That 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 was tough. It was so tough at the time, and we deliberated over doing an episode because we obviously took the time the week out. But I remember being at home and the news that there was that incident. I just remember going upstairs and saying to the other half and just bursting into tears because I knew we knew the outcome of what it was, and it was just how much it would devastate. Like David was there, and it was just it still gives me shivers now. But we found talking about it. We had to talk about it because the media in the UK do not care about ice hockey. They only care when there's a scandal, when there's an incident. Look at the one we've had in the last week with women only go because they want to look at the men. But people, mainstream media was saying he deliberately attacked him. He was a murderer. It was this. And I was like, no, we need to stand up. Because I had people at work who had never watched a game of ice hockey tell me, yeah, he's meant that, hasn't he? I'm like, no, 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 don't. So we had to address it. And I felt that coming together and talking about it was quite cathartic. Um, we got, sadly, we kind of got a lot more exposure in the podcast world because of a tragedy, but I feel like we gave it justice.
Yeah. No, I mean, because it was so I'll be honest, I spread it around to a lot of people and was like, it's just so beautiful the way that they talked about it. Like more people needed to talk about it in a way that wasn't like so so aggressive or even you could tell
Yeah.
sometimes people were talking about it because they wanted the hits, right? And everything you guys said came from a place of like love and intentionality and you gave it its moment to breathe before you even like you guys had to do your own grieving. You had to do your own stuff. And
Yeah.
I thought that was like beautiful also for a bunch of men to come together and talk about it in that way because I mean, I'm a big proponent for mental health as well. And it's not often that you see men come out and be like, this was tough, this was hard, and be so
Yeah.
genuine. Like your guys' walls were down, and I was like, I think I listened to the episode like 10 times. I was just so impressed. And um like it you don't like I said, you don't see it. You don't see that genuine ness all the time. And so that's why your guys' podcast is great. Um so
Thank you.
what is your favorite moments though from filming the podcast? Do you have like a favorite interview or just like a favorite moment between the guys?
Usually when John gets a bit red in the face because I'm winding him up, to be honest. That's kind of he does bite, and then his voice will get a little bit high if I'm winding up. Vice versa with him, he knows how to grind my gears a little bit. So yeah, I think interview wise, I we did one with Jeff Baum, and for me personally, he said you guys have done your research, and I appreciate that, and that gave me the validation of what I'm doing, because I do care, and I've invested time in the person, and they've appreciated what I do. Um, as for one particular moment, there isn't because I bloody enjoy doing every episode. So I think collectively, as a whole, and I think we're at nearly 100,000 total listens since we've been doing it. And for our little sport, I'll take that,
Yeah.
and I want to continue to do it.
Yeah. Well, you guys should continue to do it because I love it and I'll never stop talking about you guys. So
Love it.
people probably get annoyed with me. They're like, these people are in the UK. I'm like, I don't care. Well, I know that we have to wrap it up here. So I just also want to thank you for coming on again. I really appreciate
No
it.
problem.
You know, we have that big time difference to work with, and I appreciate you working with me on that.
No
If you
problem.
quickly tell people where to find you, though? Because I know I'm always really bad about doing that myself.
So we are on Spotify. It's a Free on Free Podcast UK. We're also on X and Instagram under those at Free on Free Podcast UK. So if you want to learn a little bit more about the Elite League and listen to three guys chew the fat, please come and listen.
That's awesome. Thank you so much.
Again, huge thanks to Scott. I highly recommend listening to their podcast. They are great at covering the sport and they have a lot of passion. And they see the game also from a human aspect, and I love that. So, all right, everyone. I look forward to having you guys come back again anytime in the future. I don't always talk about the EIHL. It's mostly the AHL, so not even the NHL. I talk about that minor league team. So if you're new here, please stick around. Please stick around. I don't just talk about hockey. I talk about life too. Every Monday, though, is going to be about the Griffins. One Tuesday a month, it's going to be whatever interview or something that I find beautiful that I want to talk about. Lately, it's been every Tuesday because I've been able to get the content and I've had the time to get the content. And then Thursdays, I talk about this anime I like called Free Rin. So we're hitting all the things here on this podcast because life is not just one thing. Life is a beautiful mosaic of pieces of everything. So thank you again for joining me. And remember to be kind and love always.
My theme music is One Light by Nick Wilkinson and the Featured Players. You can find their latest album, Live, Volume 1, on Bandcamp and Spotify. Live Volume 1 was recorded in front of a live audience on May 26, 2017 at Jillia's Music Room in Akron, Ohio.